Hi everyone and welcome to the Fort Digital tutorial for our SMS hardware broadcast system. This system is one of the 4 communication tools that we offer here at Fort Digital. Let's start with a quick overview of all 4 systems. The first is our professional SMS system. This is the one most commonly used by companies, banks, and government agencies. It allows you to send a huge volume of SMS messages, up to 200,000 per hour, and you can display your company's sender ID. You will need to register that sender ID with the relevant authorities. This system is suitable for all kinds of purposes, whether you are sending marketing messages, notifications, reminders, or one-time passwords, OTPs. It also comes with an API so you can integrate it into your own systems. The second system is the SMS hardware system, which is what I will show you in this video. This is essentially an offline SMS system. That means you do not need to register any sender ID with the government because you will be using your own SIM card. You simply get a SIM card from any major telecom provider, insert it into the dongle that we provide, and plug it into your computer. Here, let me show you. This is the dongle we will supply. You insert the SIM card here, then connect the dongle to your computer. There will be software installed on your computer to manage the system. Currently, this software works on all versions of Windows, but it works best on Windows 10 or below. Because this system uses your own SIM card directly, there is no internet connection required at all. It is fully offline. If you need a high security option, this is an excellent choice. We also offer more advanced hardware systems for larger scale operations. For example, if you need to integrate with an API and use many SIM cards, we have an offline server solution with features like failover and load balancing. Feel free to contact us if you would like to know more about that professional setup. For this tutorial, however, we will focus on the single dongle hardware SMS system. If you would like to purchase this system, please get in touch. It is a one-time purchase, and you can use it long-term with any SIM card you like. There are no restrictions, and you can change the SIM card at any time. Once you have prepared your SIM card and plugged the dongle into your computer, you will need to install the software. We will provide you with the installation instructions, or we can help you set it up if needed. After plugging in the dongle, make sure you see the light blinking blue. Depending on the dongle model, the light might be a different color, but we will guide you on what to check for. This light indicates that the dongle is connected to the network properly. Next, open the software that you installed on your computer. If it prompts you for a password, the default is 123. You will also need to connect to the correct port. Don't worry, that we will show you how to select the correct port later on. It is quite simple. Just go to your Windows Device Manager, expand the Ports section, and look for the UI interface COM port. Different dongles might display different port names, but in this case, it will typically show as a COM port. Make sure your dongle is plugged in, showing the blue blinking light, and then identify the correct port number. Open the software, select the COM port, and save your configuration. Next time, once you have saved the COM port number, you just need to click Connect. When you click Connect, it will establish the connection to the network. As you can see here, the software will show the connection status, and once connected, it will display all the relevant information and confirm with a message saying, "Connected successfully," and that it is ready to use. That's it for the initial setup. Now, let me walk you through the main functions of this software. The most important function, and the one most people use this system for, is broadcasting messages. Broadcasting is very simple. You just open up your database, for example, an Excel file, and copy all the phone numbers. Then simply paste them into the system. That's it. You just copy and paste. You do not have to worry about mistakes in your data. For example, if there are spaces, dashes, brackets, or even if you paste the same numbers multiple times, the system will automatically clean them up for you. Let's say you pasted 70 numbers with duplicates or formatting issues. Once you click Add to Final List, the system will process your data and clean up duplicates, so you might end up with only 35 unique numbers. Beyond removing duplicates, the system will also remove any unnecessary symbols, brackets, dashes, or alphabets, leaving only the numeric phone numbers. On top of that, it will automatically add the country code based on the default setting, which you can change if you wish. After confirming, you can click Save. Additionally, the system will check your list against a dedicated unsubscribed database. This means that if you have people who previously unsubscribed, the system will automatically filter them out and will not send messages to those contacts. I will show you later how to manage and add numbers to the unsubscribe list. Next, you can enter your message in the message box. Below the message box, there is a character counter to help you ensure your message stays within 160 characters. Remember, if you exceed 160 characters, you will be charged for 2 messages per recipient instead of 1. Of course, you can still send longer messages if you choose, but keep that cost in mind. The speed of sending depends on the network signal and the telecom carrier. Typically, you can expect around 1,000 SMS messages per hour. However, if you send messages longer than 160 characters, which count as 2 messages per person, the speed will be halved to about 500 messages per hour. Once you are ready, simply enter your message and click Send. After that, the job will move to the outbox. The outbox shows all the messages that are queued and not yet sent. As the system starts processing and sending, you will see the number in the outbox decrease while the number in the sent box increases, showing how many have already been delivered. Occasionally, you might see 1 or 2 failed messages in the system. This is normal and could happen for various reasons, such as invalid phone numbers, telecom rejection, insufficient prepaid value on your SIM card, or if your telecom carrier has blocked your SIM card from sending. All right, let me explain a bit more about failures in the sending process. If you see a few failed messages, that is completely normal. However, if you see a large number of failures, there may be something wrong with the data or with the network, and you should investigate further. That covers how the broadcast works. Now, let's do a quick demo. I'm going to copy and paste these 3 numbers and then click the Clean button. As you can see, you can paste as many numbers as you want without worrying about duplicates. After that, I click Add to Final List, type in the message, and simply click Send. That's all there is to it. Once I click Send, the messages will move to the outbox. In the outbox, you can see how the numbers decrease as they are sent out, while the sent box will show an increasing count as more messages are delivered. When messages appear in the sent box, it means they have been successfully sent. If you check the failed box, you can right-click on any failed message to resend it individually, or choose Resend All to try again in bulk. If the messages still fail after multiple attempts, there may be something wrong with the number itself. So that covers sending by copy and paste, which is the simplest way to do a broadcast. Now let's talk about sending using the address book. This system allows you to create an address book with groups and contacts. For example, you could create groups named Friends, Family, Lawyers, or Doctors. You can create as many groups as you need. After setting up your groups, you can start adding contacts. For example, let's say I add a number and place it under the Friends group and also in the Family group. One contact can belong to multiple groups. You can also assign extra variables to each contact, which lets you personalize your SMS content. For example, variable 1 could be a membership expiry date, and variable 2 could be the outstanding balance. After filling in these details, you just click Save. Then, let's say I add another contact, place it in the Friends group, and assign different variable data, like a new expiry date or outstanding amount. Again, I click Save. You can add as many contacts as you want this way. You also have the option to import contacts in bulk. I'll explain that in more detail later. Once your address book is ready, you can easily send broadcasts to your saved contacts. You have the choice to send to individual contacts by selecting them one by one, or you can choose an entire group. For example, I could select the entire Friends and Family groups. Now, some contacts might appear in multiple groups, but you don't need to worry about sending duplicate messages. When you add contacts to the final list, the system will automatically remove duplicates. Next, you can compose your personalized message. Since you've stored names and variables, you can make your messages more personal. For example, you can write Dear or Hi, then insert the name variable, and continue with something like, your membership expiry date is, followed by variable 1, and your outstanding amount is, followed by variable 2. Once you're done composing the message, you just click Send, and the system will automatically perform a mail merge to personalize the message for each contact. You can see how the personalized messages work here. For example, Dear Teddy, your membership is valid until the 9th of December. And for another contact, Dear Jimmy, your membership is valid until the 23rd of February. That's how you can personalize your messages using the variables you saved. Of course, you can also import this data directly from Excel, which I will show you shortly. Now, let's talk about handling incoming SMS replies. All incoming messages will appear in the inbox. You can double-click on any of them to view the full message details below. Next, let's discuss how to manage unsubscribes. If someone replies and asks you not to send messages to them anymore, you can easily right-click on that message in the inbox and mark them as unsubscribed. This will automatically add their number to the unsubscribe list. If you want to check the unsubscribe list, you can simply go to that section and you will see the number listed there. That's the first way to handle unsubscribes. There's also a second way where you can manually add numbers to the unsubscribe list. Just go to the unsubscribe section, type in the number you want to block, assign it to any group if you like. For example, you could place them under a manual unsub group, and then click Save. Whenever you send new campaigns, whether by copy and paste or by selecting groups, these unsubscribe numbers will automatically be filtered out from the final list. For example, if you add numbers to the final list, you will notice that any unsubscribed numbers do not appear because they have been filtered. If you prefer not to apply this filter, you can simply untick the option, and those numbers will be added back to the final list. If you later want to remove someone from the unsubscribe list and allow them to receive messages again, just go to the unsubscribe section, right-click on their number, and delete it from the list. After that, you can freely include their number in future messages. For example, if you copy and paste a number, then add it to the final list, you will see that the number shows up again after you have removed it from the unsubscribe list. That's how the unsubscribe function works. Now, let's move on to scheduling SMS messages. Sometimes you may not want to send a message immediately, but rather schedule it for later, perhaps an hour from now, tomorrow morning, or on another date. You can easily set up a scheduled message so that the system will automatically send it at the right time. Just remember that your computer must remain powered on and the program must stay running, since the system functions like a server. It should not go into hibernate or sleep mode. To schedule a message, simply prepare your final list of numbers and compose the message as usual. But instead of clicking Send, choose the Schedule option. You can then pick a custom date and time, for example, tomorrow at 10 a.m. When you confirm, you will see that the job goes into the Scheduled Jobs list instead of the outbox. When the scheduled date and time arrive, the job will automatically move from the scheduled jobs to the outbox and begin sending. This Scheduled Jobs feature also supports repeating schedules. You can set messages to repeat daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, half-yearly, or even yearly, and specify how many times they should repeat. For example, you could set up 10 birthday greetings in advance for the next 10 years, and the system will automatically manage the repeat schedule. Feel free to experiment with this powerful scheduling function later on to see how it can help you plan your messaging campaigns. Now that you've learned about group contacts and unsubscribed contacts, let's move on to the auto-reply function. In this system, you can activate a universal auto-reply. Simply click to activate it, then go into the Self-Config section and set the message you want. For example, you might write, "Thank you for contacting us. We'll get back to you as soon as possible." With this enabled, anyone who sends you an SMS will receive this automatic reply. It's completely optional, so you can choose to turn it on or off as you like. There is also a more advanced auto-reply function for specific codes. You can set up special keywords along with dedicated responses. For example, you could create a code called Wi-Fi that automatically replies with the current Wi-Fi password, or a code called USD that responds with today's exchange rate. This is great for handling frequently asked questions or providing customers with instant information. Next, let's talk about a unique feature, alert messages. Before sending a message, you can tick the Alert Message box to change how it appears on the recipient's phone. This is a special type of message that forces the recipient's phone to immediately display the message in full screen. It guarantees they will see it. However, keep in mind there are some differences between devices. On Android phones, the recipient has the option to save the message. If they choose not to save it, the message will disappear after they close it. On iPhones, there is no save option at all, so once the alert is closed, it cannot be retrieved. Feel free to try this alert message function for yourself to see how it works in practice. Now, let's move on to importing and exporting data. You can export all of your contacts, unsubscribed contacts, inbox, outbox, sent box, and failed messages to Excel for backup or reporting. Every now and then, you should export and then clear out the data to keep the system running smoothly. To import contacts, you'll need to use Excel to create a file with the correct format. Here's the guide. Column A should be the group name. For example, you might type lawyers for all these contacts. Column B is for the mobile number. Column C is for the contact name. The remaining columns can be used for optional variables if you wish. After entering your data, save the file in text tab delimited format. Please note that you must use the Windows text tab delimited format, not the Mac version. Once you save the file, close it completely before importing it. Then, select the file in the system and click Execute. You will see a confirmation message showing how many contacts have been successfully imported. For example, if you imported 12 contacts under the lawyers group, you can go to the group section and see all 12 members listed. You can then go to the contacts menu to view their details, and when you're ready to send a message, you can select the entire group and add it to your final list. That's how the hardware SMS broadcast system works. One last important note. Make sure you activate your system. Fort Digital will provide you with an activation code when you purchase the hardware. If you do not activate it with the provided key, any outgoing messages will include a special footnote, and incoming messages may also include a similar notice. If you ever lose your activation code, please contact Fort Digital to get a replacement. That covers everything for this tutorial on the hardware SMS system. Thank you very much for your time and goodbye.